have one, but after we did, you would say, this new version, there's been a little pause in this training, but it's now available. And there's a question mark. I don't remember when it is that we actually coming to London with this class, but it is sometime early May.
First week of June?
First week of June? Okay, great. So just heads up on these two things. So Sitecore commerce in context. What is it that we mean when we're talking about that? This is actually, you say, a quite huge slide that I have, but I'd like to start with it because it really puts an emphasis on when we're talking about commerce in context. So I'm not going to go through all these bullet points, and you're welcome to have slides afterwards. But I'm just going to talk about two pieces in here. The one is, you say, the conversion matrix versus what we in commerce in context call value matrix. You are all familiar with Sitecore as an experience platform, so you all know that it has something that's called the XDP, where we record every digital interaction that the user has on the website, whether he's on the mobile, whether it's email campaign that we run, that the user does actually goes into this XDP and is recorded. What we can do with that is that we can also set up, you could say, some goals. That is not just the conversion matrix when it comes to commerce. So in commerce, there's a lot, we call it actually conversion rate. So if you have a conversion rate of 2%, where 2% of the visitors to your website, they actually end up buying something from you. 2% is great on a B2C website. If you can get that up to 3%, your boss will be really happy about the work that you do. So that's the kind of conversion matrix, very financially focused on, you say, driving revenue on the website. We have value matrix. We are actually also capable of tracking, you say, soft values, not financial metrics. So to us, it could be that it's equally important that we have people signing up for the newsletters. It could also be that we would have a lot of our customers doing review of the products that they have bought. That brings us value as well. So it could even, you say, bring more value than someone buying a cheap USB stick off our website. So if someone puts on a positive review on Facebook or on any of the other, you say, review sites that is out there. So being able to track those kind of things is an important part of being commerce in context. Then another thing that I'm going to talk about on the coming slides is that we have a fully integrated solution. Today, when you run our commerce solution together with Sitecore's experience platform, it is truly one solution. It actually, you say, going down into details, it runs as one application in the same application server. So it's not like we have with a lot of our competitors that have one system where you can do email campaigning, another where you do commerce, and another where you do your branding on your websites and you have your forums and your inspirational content. We have it all together. We have one door that the customer comes into when it comes to the digital channel, whether it's email or whether it's on the web or mobile, whatever it is. So with that, let me go on and talk you say about why we're doing this. And it's, of course, you have heard this, I'm sure, in many presentations. That's the consumers out there today. They have access to all the information. Of course, you say they can bring up the mobile phone at any point when they're in a physical store or at home. So they're connected all the time. That means that not only can they, say, when they're going out to go do a purchase, go onto our website and find information, they can do it on all the other websites. So if we are a shop selling in retail, they can actually, you say, go to the source of the information, the brands that are selling, to their home pages to get inspiration. And of course, they can use also the rest of the internet to get, you say, the information. And they can as quickly, you say, shift away from our store as possible. So being that, you say, having this high level of connectivity, that gives us a purpose. You say, we want a goal. We want to do this personalized customer experience when it comes to shopping. And I think you say everyone that's in commerce wants to do that today. It's not enough that you just put a catalog online and then you put a buy button. You actually need to make that web page appear and have the right products and the right content at the right moments to exactly that consumer and that needs that someone has. So just after a few clicks, we are supposed to be able to guess what is it that you come to our websites to buy. Are you an iPhone user or are you Android? So that we're not, you say, pushing the wrong products towards someone. That sounds easy enough, and everyone is trying to do it. The problem and the challenge in doing that is exactly what I talked about just a minute ago, that we have different systems. We have one system where we do our email campaign. We have another one where we do our commerce and where we do our inspirational content. And a classical example of this is that you go onto a website and you buy something. And then actually, after you have bought something, you start getting email or you see campaigning or banners all around the website for the exact same product that you have already bought. I think most of us have experienced that. That is, of course, because that neither the marketing system or the email campaign system knows that we have actually already bought this product. So we're wasting, say, a lot of attention from our customers pushing products, not only that we would say are not relevant to them, but also things that they have actually already bought. And it could actually backfire, especially if we just put it on sale. It's annoying, you would say, getting an email, buy this, and just bought it, now you can buy it for half the price. So just having, you say, the ability to connect this, and this is, you can say, where we really have the advantage of having one system, because it's a hassle putting together a commerce solution and having it work together with an email marketing solution, or having to work a commerce solution with the content. No one has really out there in the market been able to do it. So we are actually, you say, one of the first in the market doing it. Hopefully, in a short time, we have Forrester and Gartner coming out with reports this month, actually Forrester tomorrow, and I really truly hope that they'll write something about that we actually have one system where we're capable to do that out of the box, having it. So looking at it, also you say going out and doing this personalized, these systems, you see a lot of attention today in the market that people are investing in. I know this is from 2015, but don't look at the pictures. Just look at up here, the top 5 priorities for marketeers and when they do technical investments. They invest in customer experience, in marketing operations, marketing analytics, digital commerce, and social marketing. All these 5 areas is actually areas that we cover with our product and the experience platform. So, yes, we don't do everything. And another way of looking at it, if you go out and buying solutions, there's hundreds of vendors out there. And of course, you can say we don't do everything, we're not leading in everything. Areas for being and actually do e-commerce on the web. And we actually recognize, like in web content management experience, as being the leader now for 10 consecutive years. We have also been recognized, you say, for being a leader in marketing operations. We have, you say, a good email marketing product, just released some new versions. And we are actually also able to do the analytics part extremely efficient. And we would say key to it, the analytics part actually hook in to both content, to commerce, to marketing, to everything. So, and it does that out of the box. So don't go for a disintegrating solution, go for something that's integrated. So when we try to do this in context, we try to cover the whole circle, both with web content management, commerce, also being able to support apps. Actually, we have a Xamarin developers kits that we can move in there. We also have email. We have invested in Control, which is a social connector for our product portfolio. We have the PXM or print, so that we can actually do personalized, also printing out that is based on what we see in the content that we already have produced for the online channel. So trying to bring this together, and especially the content and the commerce, it is a challenge not only to do it, but to be able to do it and also be able to do the personalization with an end-to-end customer experience. We are pretty much the only one in the market. I have worked for 10 years before I joined Sitecore for IBM, also selling their commerce solutions. IBM spent billions and billions of dollars acquiring technologies. Among that, something to do with marketing automation, also to do content management and so on. But it's still separate products, separate solutions, and they're very hard to integrate. And I know that it's not only IBM that's struggling with that. It is everyone in commerce that is struggling getting commerce and content together. And then also including, of course, the consumer and everything that we know about that in our analytics part. So what we're trying to do is that we want to do a platform with Sitecore. We have the native personalization. with the personas and everything that we can do. We also have the ability to do testing and optimization. So like A/B testing what content, how to present products, having A/B testing, showing a product in one page using one template, and then showing it with another one. What actually works the best? So it's built in, and we have the engagement plans that we can set up so that we can actually do marketing automations. So simple things like having this abandoned cart email sent out when someone puts something in the cart and leave the site. If we have any knowledge about that email address, anything, we can actually just put that into place and have that run again together with testing and personalization. And then, as I told you, one connected platform. So pretty much you say already talked a lot about this. We have the experience database that tracks, but it also profiles the users. So it comes up with suggesting. Of course, we can say we can do a one-to-one, and segment by one has been also a concept that people are talking about. I think you can segment yourself to that and try to do that. But we actually have a analytics agent that comes up and suggests what kind of profiling and segmentation should you do, which would be most effective among the users that you have. And we can use that and personalize based on the pre-purchases. We can even go a step further. So when someone goes onto the website and looks at a product that is out of stock, we have these, because it's fully integrated, as soon as it comes back into stock, that is an event that we can have that kicks off marketing automation, so that when it comes back into stock, then everyone that has viewed this product in the period where it's out of stock and where we know their email address, we can actually send them an email and tell them now it's back in stock using our automation plans. So by having this one solution where you say the stock count is actually part of the whole same solution, that is not some external system from the marketing automation system, that really gives us the ability to do this kind of very high level of personalization. We can also do the testing and optimization. If you work with the A/B testing, it can be set up so that it runs the test, and as soon as it has, you can say, the statistics and enough data to actually compile and say, well, this actually works better than this, then you can automatically have it choose the winner and continue on the website exposing that to the goals. And we can put it up against the conversion goals again, not only the financials, but also other conversions goals like having a lot of people sign up for emails or reviewing the products, whatever it is that you want. We have the marketing automations. We have already talked about how you can use it for the abandoned cart. You can, of course, also use it for cross-sell and upsell. When someone buys something, you have the typical mail where you send out a transaction email with the invoice and the thank you for your purchase. But of course, you can also look at that and see when something that is related, some accessories, whatever, to that product, when that goes on sale, set up a marketing automation that looks everything that is associated or related to this product automatically starts sending that out and notify people about it. So again, the last thing, one integrated platform. I think I've said that enough now, but I really think that that's a great thing. At least you could say, coming from a background where you would have to go out, you could say, to do the same things here, going out and demoing it, you would actually have to install 6 or 7 products. We only have to install one. It's not easy doing it with commerce, but when it's up running, it actually is very nice and smooth having one place to do it. Also having one back-end management interface where you can actually work with everything instead of having to jump into a back-end commerce system to do your merchandising, back-end email system to do other things. You have one place where you can actually work with it. So with that, I'll leave it to Mark. If you have any questions regarding commerce, if you have any opportunities, or you just want to hear more about it, please contact me. Also, if you're interested in these events that are coming up, the Partner Roadshow and training, just let me know. I'll try to help you as much. Thank you.
You sell real estate too? That's a lovely card. Nicely tanned as well. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Or talk amongst yourselves. Okay, my name is Mark Townsend. I was told to protect a bit, so I'll speak up. Sorry if you're in the front rows, but I'll speak up a bit louder than I normally speak, which is usually pretty loud anyway. So I am from America, from U.S., originally from Tennessee, moved to the Seattle area, worked for Microsoft for about 13 years, and then just recently moved back to Tennessee. Unfortunately, not to start a music career or anything romantic like that. It's just where I originally came from. So I did spend a lot of time at Microsoft. I was actually one of the people who worked on the Commerce Server product team. And so a little known trivia fact is that Møller, Jensen, and I actually worked together on the Commerce team back in the late 90s or early 2000s. And he actually wrote a piece of the product, which almost no one knows about, so now they do. And so, and I'll, not to apologize up front, but I will say that I wasn't originally supposed to be the speaker here. There's another colleague of mine who's back at the hotel who asked me to fill in for him. Unfortunately, he was on the bridge yesterday when that event happened, and so he was fairly shook up by it. So my heart goes out to the British folks here, and just know that we're with you. So, so that said, what I'll do is I'll talk about, well, actually I'll talk about anything you want me to talk about. But what I plan to do is, I'm on the planned agenda is to talk about our new commerce engine. And if you want me to cover anything else, I take tips, so I'll be more than happy to talk about what you'd like me to. So just so I know basically who the audience is, anyone with experience with the old Microsoft Commerce Server, use that at all? One, two, just two? Okay, so I won't talk about that. So, normal experience with the Sitecore platform itself, with say 7 version onwards. Most folks, oh, perfect. Okay, so when we first started this, I was part of the acquisition roughly of the old commerceserver.net when we got acquired and moved into Sitecore. And so we sort of struggled with this idea of like, what's the best way to communicate these ideas? And so it's like, do we talk about commerce for Sitecore developers or what's the best way to do that? So I'll put it in the context of here's commerce for people who know Sitecore. And I think I'll probably hit the broad mark here, the 90% plus range. Fair? Okay, perfect. So this is all brand new stuff. It just got released in January. It was a bit of an early release. So we have another release that's coming out near the end of this month, probably next week or so, which is we're calling 8.2.1 Update 1. Not to be too confusing. So we have it's 8.2.1 Update 1, and that one's is promised to be a really stable build. I'll cover that at any level of detail that you like. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the 8.2 was the offering that we had from last like last fall. 8.2 was released, and really here's just a list of features that we enabled in that release. And what that primarily was is a commerce server that's been fully or near fully integrated into the Sitecore platform itself. And so you can think of it as 2 separate platforms. We took all of the capabilities that we could out of the commerce server, and we married that with what was available from Sitecore. And so that included things like experience management, the PIM-like type functionality. We get a lot of questions around PIM capabilities. Let's say we do have some PIM capabilities, but they're PIM-light. So merchandising, we introduced a merchandising manager application that was, if you've used Commerce Server in the past, the old catalog manager, just think of it as a web-based version of that. That was nicer, a bit slower, but much nicer to look at. Personalization, mobile, really all the basic Sitecore capabilities with cart and order capture, and so on. So here's just the high-level feature list. So this is what we were calling Sitecore Commerce powered by Commerce Server 8.2. And then we also had another product which I've been spending a lot of time on lately, which we call Sitecore Commerce, powered by Microsoft Dynamics. And so I've worked on both of those. But what we're really here to talk about today is yet a third option, which is we're calling just Sitecore Commerce. And so what that is we've taken a lot of the older baggage that we had with Commerce Server, and we've gotten rid of as much as we can, and we're going fully native with the Sitecore platform itself. So there's loads and loads of things that we did there. And so if you've used Commerce Server in the past, you know that we had tons of pipelines and COM objects and ATL, C++, and there's a whole bunch of old stuff that's in there, which worked great for 1998 and 2000, works really bad now. And so we've gotten rid of all that. It's all been replaced with new native stuff, and that's what we talk about. So the brand new application added is for customer orders management. We had a similar application in the old Commerce Server system, which was called Customer Order Management, but it was a very thick client, used WinForms.net WinForms, and it was difficult to deploy. So now we have a fully web-based version that's integrated directly into the Sitecore platform itself, and you see uses it says a laser. I don't know if my eye out here. Which one is that? The center button? Ah, perfect. Then, thank you. So if you see this, the framework that we're using here, this is all the Speak UI framework. And so all of the new interfaces will all be developed in Speak. And so this is the first group out for Customer Order Manager. You'll be able to look at not only customer contacts, people who sign up on the site, but also look at any orders that they have. And so I'm glad to say this is more than just order capture, which was what we did before. Before the old system, we just captured the order. We didn't allow you to do anything with it. Lots of history behind it. I'm going to get into that, but we've sort of backed off of some of those rigid requirements that we had from before. And what we're doing now is allowing you to make some order edits. So if you need to go in and change a payment type, change a shipping address, change something specific about an order, like in the CSR type context, you can do that now. You still need to be hooked up to a back-end fulfillment system for fulfillment. So we'll allow changes up to an order to a certain point in the workflow. At some point, the order becomes locked, and you're just, it's its own way. And so you'll have to change that order in the fulfillment system. There's a question.
How about indirect orders? Like,
Sorry?
Indirect orders. Like,
Indirect orders?
Yeah, I mean,
Such
there's
as?
a customer who doesn't just buy it from my side, buy it from other side or another system.
Like affiliate?
Send from me.
There's a couple things. So when like Best Buy does this, because Best Buy Canada runs Commerce Server, they have web channel orders, obviously physical in-store orders. But when you render that My Account page, you'll get the online orders because they are cached and it's in our data model. But if they want to bring up, or they'll make a live call out to the system, bring back your last 3 retail orders, whatever it is. And when you click on that, it's a live call rendered from the OMS. Or do you really want the painstaking of trying to import all those orders into your online, right? So you do what's best for whatever they decide to do, as far as business rules and how to render that back, right? But we can still use the data layer to bring in previous orders and previous purchases into the XDB and use that data too, but through a different segment.
So yeah, we do capture orders through all the typical channels. If you really want to talk about orders, like omni-channel type orders from from call center or maybe from EDI orders or any of those kind of things, that's a different thing. And if you're really interested in that, ping me and I'll be more than happy to demo our other product. As long as there's a customer opportunity associated with that. So,
yeah, one thing we know, most commerce systems are slaves to that master system. So most of the stuff you'll see is online orders. And if you want to integrate with anything that's offline, right, it's a big integration typically. So you pick and choose, right? You want 8 months of integration or you just take a live call out. So
yeah,
depending on how they want to implement. So.
Yeah. And we can talk more about how we handle that with Dynamics. So this is the sort of the overarching framework that's going to sit on top. Underneath, we'll actually like runtime calls to systems like Dynamics and probably some others in the future. That's still work that's in the backlog that we're kind of working through that plan right now. It'll get there. You should see, so be patient. You'll see something probably sooner than you might think. But definitely with Dynamics, we have a much deeper integration than we do with some of the other vendors. And we love Microsoft. And so CSR order administration, just an application to be able to go in and make some of these changes. Also, the ability to do RMAs. We had never had this in the past. So if you need to punch out and to do like get shipping labels or any of those other kind of things, we have all the hooks to allow that to happen. So you can initiate it from here. We'll go call the other system, get the right authorizations and so on. But you know, if you've done this sort of thing in the past with other commerce systems, you know that's quite an undertaking to pull some of this off. The biggest change here from what we had in the past was just being able to actually edit an order. So we called it order administration, but we didn't allow you to change anything. So that's all. We changed that change. Cart order capture. Still handled most of the same sort of cart functions that we had in the past, which was things like split payments, you know, line items in a cart, being able to do promotions or discounts based on particular line items, groups of items. So if you buy 2, get 1 free, all those sorts of things. So that's all still there. But something, if you're getting familiar, it's easy to talk about what we did in the past, in that we had a pipeline plugin model for our cart system. So we had a cart pipeline, we had an order pipeline, we had all sorts of pipelines. Those are all the COM pipelines. If you old enough to remember COM, you'll know that it's awful to deal with. So that's all gone. So this is all built on ASP.NET Core. So it's the absolute latest and greatest available from Microsoft. And post-capture order processing. So several things we built into the system. One, there's an application construct that we call minions. Just think of a minion as not just some army that you command, but really a lot of worker processes that run in the background that you can plug your own business logic into to run some automated tasks. So another way to say that, if you need to run some stuff asynchronously in the background, some background threads, we have a minions framework to allow that to happen.
A good example of that would be Black Friday. If you're not going to hit the OMS or ERP for live orders, right? You probably want to throttle that batch to do that batch set on the processor, because that mode's going to be really heavy. Throttle with that.
Yeah, and you can think of all sorts of like background processes that you can run. I mean, we have the same similar model with our marketing automation, that we have these background threads that just run in the background looking for work to do. We'll see an abandoned cart, we see if there's an email address associated with it, and we'll see there's items in the cart. So we can take some action based on that. We've got a workflow built around it. So we have a similar model, and now with the Commerce Engine, that allows us to do something similar. Nothing fancy like our workflow model yet, but stay tuned. It'll get much better. This is a V1 product for now, so we're looking for lots of people to start using it, give us feedback. We do have a user voice channel as well, so always looking for great feedback. Entitlements, it's something, being American, that we always have trouble with that word. But, but it's, just think of it as, and it really does fit pretty well in that, like if you purchase a subscription, or if you're maybe a gold level member, platinum member, whatever precious metal member, then you may have some additional benefits that you get with that level of membership. And so we have the ability to, to hook things onto that. Especially, for example, if you bought a subscription, then you get 1 month free downloads of a particular music or something. That's an example. Loyalty program, same sort of thing. That as being part of the loyalty program, you'll get some entitlements with that. So any questions about entitlements? It's there. No question. Just nodding heads like that. As long as the heads go in this direction, not this direction. Okay, so pricing and promotions. Particularly excited about this one. A particular feature that I worked on as a lowly PM on the Commerce Server team at one time was the catalog system. Still the same catalog system. Last thing that will be able to be pulled out of Commerce Server. You did a good job. the catalog system. So one of the mistakes that, and I actually wrote the specs for this, is we had prices as part of the product schema itself. And I've only been forward thinking enough to know that really pricing is one of those levers that lots of retailers like to use, and wholesalers as well. It's one of those leverage points, and so they'll have different pricing agreements with different groups, tiered pricing, and so on, that we just didn't have a good grasp of the complexity of where prices would go. So I'm happy to say now, with this particular version, we've got a new pricing engine that completely separates pricing from the product in the catalog itself. So there's still a base price in the catalog. You know, it makes sense for that to be there. But of all the different pricing permutations that you may want to do outside of that, we have an engine that will help manage it. So it's based on a couple of high-level entities, such as price books, which is a collection of price cards. I think a card contains a card's like a page in a book. So price cards, price books, and it allows you to set different rules based on a card, and then group those rules together, or group those cards together in a book, and then take snapshots of that book, and then apply those pricings based on your own conditions. So it's fairly open-ended. It's very flexible. With flexibility comes some complexity and some additional reading time. So take that where it is, and you probably have to do a little studying. It'll be one of those sort of moments that you do that here in school. Is that a thing?
Yes, it is. Can you influence the price book through personalization and engagement plans?
You can choose which price book based on, you can have some rules associated with that. So say, for example, you have a personalization rule that this particular persona would get this price book versus a different price book. Yes, that capability is built in.
Okay.
The details are a bit more sketchy than that, so I'll save that for another conversation.
Assumedly, it would get very granular if you did start
Yeah.
using that.
Yeah, it gets so it has to do with snapshots and so on, which snapshot gets applied when. Yeah, but high level, yes. I'll give you the sales answer. It's always yes. It's a joke. Okay, so some of the things that we do offer is good price books, price cards, dynamic pricing. So you could have price by date. You could have, eventually you could see some sort of like Uber type model where based on some external conditions, maybe there's a high congestion or low availability of a product, you can do price adjustments that way. So it's pretty open-ended. You can go a lot of different places with this. So tiered pricing, we get this almost every one of our deals that we work, and I help partners and customers with, sort of sorting out the requirements and what our platform does and doesn't do. Tiered pricing almost always comes up. So how many folks have built like commerce like sites or anything? Okay, so I'm sure you've run into this type of thing. Tiered pricing always shows up. So someone asks, and you see it on an RFP. Yes, we have it. It's available. List versus sell prices. Snapshot pricing. Again, that gets a bit more complicated, probably a little outside the scope of just introduction. And different extended pricing models. So this also goes in with our plugin model. So we do have being able to plug in your own functionality to augment the price. So we have our own pipelines as well. So if you build your own step in a pipeline and you want to inject your own sort of pricing rule or your own pricing condition or your own whatever override of pricing, you can also do that. So that's all available. Workflow based, with any workflow comes approvals. We have that as well. And then, of course, the snapshots again, which is really just a snapshot point in time of what all these conditions look like. What's the final price? Transparency and auditing, so the ability to go back and look forward and backwards in time to look at different snapshots at a point in time. You may have a condition where you change the price 5 times during the week, and you want to go back and go view the price each one of those days of the week. We have the ability to do that now.
Can you do variable testing on pricing?
You can do variable testing on pricing, yes. To see which one converts better, for example. Yeah. So if you want to do an A/B test, again, it gets a bit more sketchy with the snapshots, but we can follow up on the details of that one. Yeah, again, this functionality, the auditing, we get this list, which for auditing. So anytime there's a price change, everyone in the management team wants to know why, when, where, and how that the price has changed. So now we have the ability to go back and track that down. So there's some rogue employee who set some prices for his mates, or is it something? Or is it one of those? It was a legitimate price change, and so we could be able to do that. The ability to plug in promotions as well. So if I want to have a special pricing event at some point in the future, we set that up for a promotion system. And so, how much doing that time? How much? How much time? How much time do I want?
Yeah.
Which beer do you have? Oh yeah. So you need still what, 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Just give you like a 2-minute warning or something. Otherwise, I'll talk. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, again, that loads of beer over there. I'll talk. That was one of the conditions. They said, would you mind stepping in to do this? I said, I don't know. Is there food and beer? They said, yeah. I said, done. And it is true what they say about Southern people in the U.S. We do love beer. Which I was a perfect company being here.
Sorry, that's what's on the promotions.
Yeah, this one.
You have a normal set of standard promotions, buy one get one free.
Yes. We do have a standard set, yes. And so in terms of promotions itself, so we have pricing overrides. And so there's two separate things. You can have pricing rules, and then you can also have promotions that get built on top that changes the price, whether it's 10% off on Mother's Day and sort of thing.
Okay, and you can be flexible with the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. You can combine them, you can stack them, you can have exclusion rules that say that this coupon can only be used one time, or maybe one time or 100 uses or so on. Yeah, so it's very flexible. Any other questions? Okay. Sensibility. I'm not completely sure about this, so we'll just go through this together. So we will have a brand new storefront that'll be released for. This has actually changed a bit, so we're going to change this code name. I can't tell you what it is right now unless we get like some clearance. So this number will be changed to a different number that I can't say. So this number will be changed. We'll have it'll be a newer platform. So A3 doesn't exist. We heard it here today. And so there will also be a brand new storefront. So if you've used our solution before, actually I'll just assume like you didn't know. I'll just tell you that we do have a downloadable reference storefront that we allow you to download. It's completely free. It's a .NET project. It's NDC based. I think it's NDC 4 or 5. And you can download it. We give you all the source code for it. You can extend it. You can use it as a help file. You can do whatever you want to with it. So that's our reference storefront. We have some of our customers building their sites on this. You could literally go into this thing. It's fully functional to theme it, put your own skin on it basically, and make it your own. And we built some of our demos on that. In fact, one guy in the back, my brother from another mother, so Michael Carter, it's built. It built some demos on top of that, for better or worse. Lost some hair over it. And but with A3, we're changing it a bit. So there'll be a new reference storefront. Probably in the future, you'll see our demos based on maybe that. So between now, I'll give you the demo bit real quick. So right now it's an NDC storefront with our demos will actually be based on Habitat. So if you're studying Habitat and Helix, those skills are not going to waste. So we'll still use that. Reference storefront will be based on Helix principles, but we'll use something called our Sitecore Experience Accelerator toolkit, which is XXA. So you'll see XXA coming out. You also see a CXA that will do some commerce-bound controls that will be in the toolkit as well. So the whole idea being that we're going to reduce the time it takes to go from concept to market for a solution. So if your partners, who develop sites for your customers, if you're able to get to market quicker, maybe you can up your rates and you'll be faster. I don't know.
Is that big enough to take buy individual components from the SXA rather than taking them all to
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
the storefront with the SXA?
Yeah.
So is that big enough to take certain components off it rather than the entitled? What's the extent of what's available?
Oh, I don't have the details. I can keep the person's name. Don't tell him I gave it to you. I'm just kidding. I could, but I'll have to take bribes out. Not that expensive, by the way. So the new storefront will have, of course, all the security testing. We do the other one, performance testing, and so on. But the number one thing is, as I said, the new storefront will be based on XXA and CXA. I don't have the details for that. And really, the guy that I could tell you, the guy is really, really busy right now, and he's not the most responsive on email. So I don't want to make both of us mad, like him and you. But I'm sure Thomas will be more than happy to. His email address is tmj@sitecore. He's more than happy to facilitate that for you. So new sample catalogs. So if you've used our stuff in the past, anybody seen AdventureWorks before? Yeah? AdventureWorks has the Waffle Stomper crampons, which Swedes and Finns love that thing. I don't know why it's that's going away. There's a new electronics catalog that was coming out with a new demo, and you'll probably see some of that today. If I was to guess. And just business benefits, some light architectures, it's only a little bit. Second, we have a core system with some built-in stuff. You can extend it with your own plugins. So if you're handy with the C# editor, you'll be quite happy with this model. So very simple, lightweight services, all ASP.NET Core. We've split the sort of, we call it separation of concerns. Certain different types of functionalities split into their own separate sites, websites, ASP.NET Core sites. So you can scale out different portions. So there's like a worker group, and then there's a front end group, and there's some backend processes, and so on.
Could you potentially put those on different platforms of the streams?
I'm sorry, Ed.
Could you, because it's built on .NET Core,
Yeah.
potentially put that on Unix to that one?
Possible. Probably something we would do. It's doubtful, but there's some adventure sites out there. I'm sure that's quite possible. Actually, since I'm thinking about it, it's when I was at Microsoft, I actually worked in the Windows Web hosting team at one point. It's one of the things that we pushed the .NET framework team pretty hard on was your framework is too fat, and it's it's over 100 megs at the time, and we were really pushing them hard. So if you really want to get into the hosting business, you're going to have to come up with a lightweight framework, and they just told us to bugger off basically. And so here we are, like 3 years later, and we've got one. So insane. Somebody was listening. So yeah, simple deployment. Think of it as like Xcopy type deployments, just like we haven't done that before. So not a lot of really complex deployment, registrations, and so on. OData model. So think of it as like your interfaces into your classes are all return OData. So use OData.NET on the runtime to return back OData formatted so basically returns on your methods will return OData in OData formats on the protocol. And there we go. So you like XML, you get to learn something else. It's very simple.
Is there any specific reason for choosing more data?
Sure. That's the question.
Is there any specific reason for choosing more data?
It's like the new cool kid in school. I don't know. It's because it's OData and it's JSON and XML before, and honestly I've seen probably 10 different public text protocols used, and there's loads of like private binary protocols used at Microsoft. It's always every couple of years they're changing. I'd say the primary reason why Sitecore's behind this one is that's the default from ASP.NET Core. And so also with Dynamics that we use pretty heavily, the return types on all of their methods and interfaces are all data now as well. So now we're getting service calls back, or service returns. But it's still better than SOAP or SOAP 1.0 and 1.1 and so on. Those were kind of ugly to work with as well. You don't have to use angle brackets anymore. Again, so here's, not to get into too much, and I'm starting to get into base time. So REST-based APIs, returns our data, JSON. We do have a little bit of legacy commerce server left in the 8.2.1 version. In this to-be numbered version coming up later, you'll see this go away completely. So right now we're still coexisting with the catalog system, which was the best part of commerce server. Yes. And so it's the best part of commerce server. We still have that in because it just does what it does really well. But it has some long teeth, and we need to get rid of it. So that'll go away in the next version by the end of the year-ish. Software depends on schedules and earthquakes and so on, natural disasters. So but for now, you can think of all the old com-based stuff. So all the order system, all of the, basically the order system was all com-based. That's all gone. A little bit there. We have services that surround the system. And okay, that's it. Now, any questions? I got 5 minutes to get Dave set up, and I can answer questions in the meantime. Or we have a break.
Yeah, we go right. Some people can always
Okay.
break as well, but then for free.
Okay, so I rushed through the last bit. I apologize.
Is there any recommended integration for ticketing?
It's recommended integration into ticketing.
Yeah.
So
CSR agents stuff.
Yeah, so you could do combined. So we've got a few clients at the moment who are looking to do combined carts, and the nightmare between having a separate ticketing system to your commerce server, essentially.
Right.
Do you have any recommended integrations for that to be able to do that, or is it just not on the road?
I would say so the only difference between like selling a ticket versus selling a shoe is how it's fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
So it's the fulfillment that's different. So we don't necessarily have a fulfillment system. We plug into a fulfillment system. So I'd say our integration would be whatever fulfills a ticket, prints it, or issues it online, whatever. But we'll have a framework that will say, okay, a ticket was purchased, the payment was validated, and here's the user, and issue their ticket. And so however that ticket gets issued.
Is he selling a ticket or like CSR tickets?
So we've got
Support
well,
tickets.
we have things like seasonality and things that affects the kind of product structure of the ticket, I guess,
Right.
which makes it a little bit more complex. But I was just wondering, I know it's a bit of a niche requirement, but we've had a couple of clients who
Yeah, we don't have like a standard ticketing protocol. Like,
Okay.
There's not like a standard ticketing interface that I'm aware of. I know I've been working in retail for a long time as well, and it's something we've talked about for I know at least 10 years about standard like product definition, XML definition, or EDI, AS2 definition. Any of those come up with here's the what a defined response request should look like, and to my knowledge, nothing's been standardized or formalized.
How easy is it to integrate with external PIN or wireless?
How easy? Well, depends on the PIN, how complex that is, but we try to make that part easy. IBM's PIN, not the rubbish.
I mean, is it scalable in terms of all the components? IT covered, or is it scalable, or
I think it depends on where you want to use your PIM information, right? So you've got standard product data going through to OMS, which you're selling actual sellable goods, right? Where you're doing the final validation of that order. And if you got other PIM information that's going directly to the CMS, it could be integrations in multiple places. But with any commerce system, you're going to pull system out of a master system, massage it, and put it in the format that we can take it. And that's just everybody does it.
Typically, I mean, no one would run on the server managing the bank.
Yeah.
Everyone that they will put, which I'm not sure it's so sophisticated as European systems.
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways to handle it. We do integrations with him now, even with Commerce Server. And so just know too that we still have legacy Commerce Server in the mix just for the catalog. So it's a matter of taking the output of the PIM and publishing that into Sitecore Commerce. Really, as long as you can handle an XML, output an XML file, you can import that into Commerce Server and it'll just automatically show up in Sitecore. So there's no work required other than making sure that XML is in the right format. It just depends on how often the catalog changes and so on.
And the other question I have is how is which commerce work the Sitecore is competing now? I mean, that's all comparison.
Who are you
That B2C or is it are we promoting B2C or promoting B2B or what is the proposition?
Depends on who you ask. Ask me. I would say that we compete across both. It depends on how far you define the B2B functionality. So if you say B2B Lite, which is basically being able to do custom specific pricing or have customer specific assortments, then yeah, we can do that now.
And we have all the tax payments for
Oh, sorry, you didn't get, so around just taxes in general, sorry, I'm getting cut off. I get the sheet book in a moment.
Yeah, no, I was going to say this. Sounds like you've got a lot of questions. We're going to take like a 15-minute break.
Okay.
Get there, everybody get up and have some food and drink, and feel free to come and ask Mark. Thank you very
Have you seen Bulgarian Sitecore using your logo?